Joining me live on the news to take a look at consumer rights is the principal partner, Adanso legal consult, Rebecca Igwebuike. Many thanks for joining us on the news at this time.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's start by exploring the consumer rights that a would-be consumer should be informed about. What are the rights of consumers?
Okay, first of all, we have to look at what is the law that governs the consumer rights and its protection. And is the law actually that governs, that provides for the body before you know your rights? So in Nigeria, is the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018 that provides the body that governs the consumer rights. So this Consumer Rights Protection Agency has stipulated that there are over 7 laws, 7 rights that the consumer has. And the first of all is right of value for your money. It's expected that the consumer should have value for their money. They should be entitled to products and services that creates value for them. And the second one is right to safety. The consumer should be protected against hazardous products or services, which is why you have to also provide an avenue where they can come and get such products and services in a protected environment. Another one is rights to information. Every information that governing the products and services you are providing for these consumers must be made available and also provided where they can also easily access this information. Then the other one is rights to choose. Okay, the consumer is protected against monopoly, which means that all avenues are created for them to be entitled to different products and services and a very competitive prices so that they will not be held hostage by maybe a producer that produces something that they are not comfortable with. So the next right is redress. The consumer has a right also to seek for redress when they are dissatisfied. And these rights are stipulated in 3 R's. What that means is the consumer is entitled to repair. If there are issues to the products and services, there should be an avenue for repair. Then another is replacement.
All
If
right.
it's something that can't be repaired, you need to replace.
Okay,
And the
Rebecca,
rest is to replace.
I'm happy you're mentioning all these rights that the consumer has, right to choose, right to seek redress. You mentioned the Consumer Act in Nigeria. So, do you or are these rights peculiar to locations? Are they different in different African countries?
They are not different because some of these rights are the best practices all over, worldwide, all over. Okay, because when I actually researched for Ghana, I found out that though they don't have a body corporate the way we have in Nigeria, what they do is that every industry, every regulatory body governing a certain industry has an avenue, maybe a department that governs complaints in that aspect. Same with Kenya also. They have their general their banks that address such issues because they also have been having the same issues we have recently of mobile online bankers just exploiting the consumer. So that's how it operates in other African countries and world over too.
Now, talking about the digital platforms, last week the Consumer Protection Council went hard on digital loan firms and shut down activities of some. And some of the issues were the naming and shaming of the borrowers and also the mode of transfer and the interest factor of digital platforms. What exactly was your take on all this?
I think that is the right step in the right direction because if we just have a right that the consumer has and there is no way to enforce such rights, then it's as good as not being in operation because of recent the consumers has been falling prey to all of this, have also been a victim sometimes. I have too. So I think it's the right step in the right direction, is going taking a step further to guarantee these rights. And you know, some so yes, those actions were taken. And I also know that the organization has also created a joint task force. They have to do this with ICPC, with the Nigerian police, just coming together to make sure that the rights of the consumers are protected. So I think it's the right step in the right direction.
What other measures do you think the government can do to forestall such occurrences? Because according to some of the details, it said they are not actually Nigerian companies and they were not even registered in Nigeria. And because they're digital, it's quite hard to track them. So how best do you think the government and, of course, the Consumer Rights Protection Agency can forestall such occurrence in the future?
I think the steps they need to take, which they are already doing, is the means that they did recently of sending out a memo to Google and Apple Store to deactivate the accounts of these people. And I know that in Nigeria, there are rules and regulation, even when it comes to Corporate Affairs Commission, the regulatory bodies that govern these companies. So I feel that they should put a notice out there, because that's the right that the consumer also has. The consumer has a right to information. So I think that the organization can put out notices out there to let them know that this bank, this online banking companies and whatever lists them, to let them know that they are not operative here in Nigeria, that whatever dealing that the consumer chooses to do with them is at their own risk. So if they take these steps, I think that they've done their part. It will now be the responsibility of the consumer, which we know that those rights that we stipulated earlier comes with responsibility on the part of the consumer. You have to be aware. You have to always be on the way not to fall victim to those people. So once information has been put out there, to know the online bankers, the online companies that are regulated and their documents are with the Corporate Affairs Commission, that people can go online to check through, I guess people will be aware and know the company to deal with and the ones not to even engage in.
All right, Rebecca, you've talked about notices, which brings us to consumer responsibilities. Now, how best can consumers lodge complaints if they feel they have not been treated fairly?
Okay, there are various avenues for them to do that. Okay, we know that the organization has different offices in different states, but because I just wanted to make sure I'll be saying the right thing, which is why I had to put across a call this morning with the number they provided, and indeed they picked my call and they talked with me. So these are the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has made two-way avenue to which you can lodge your complaint. The first one is for you to go physically to their office to submit the letter, okay? But this letter must fulfill three requirements, which are stating the fact that you initially engaged these people for a product and service of which you are dissatisfied about. Then you are going to give information concerning the transaction that took place. You're also going to provide documents to support the money you paid, and you have to stipulate the particular redress that you are looking for. So it's either you submit it at their office or you go to contact at, I think, sorry, I have to be clear on that, contact at fccpc.gov.ng. You can submit to them, and they provided their phone numbers of which I called this morning and it was going through,
Okay.
which you can also lodge your complaint. So I don't know if I can call out the number, but once you go to their website, every information you need is available there.
All right. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing so much insight on the rights of a consumer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.